Hi, I'm Michael McPadden from the Tango API team with another tutorial for Tango's Mobile Procurement REST API, known as MobProc for short. In this video, I'll guide you through how to create and submit an order request to order accessories for a specific device asset. But before I jump into the specifics of an order accessories order, I just want to quickly review the 4 basic steps for creating any type of order request. Authentication is the verification that the user making the API call is actually who they claim to be. Please note that users are authenticated with every API call. In this API, request headers are primarily used to refine context. Common examples include executing a transaction on behalf of another user, who is sometimes known as the quote-unquote actor, or using certain headers to tag a single call or group of related calls with a unique identifier that can be used to easily locate these calls in a server activity log file. For a detailed overview of what headers are available and how they can be used, please check out our video library for the video entitled Request Headers. The request body, written in JSON, is the heart of the order request. It contains all of the data needed by the source system to process your order. In a minute, I'll show you how to assemble that JSON. But the final aspect of an order request is indicating whether you want back an order request confirmation or if you're actually submitting it for processing. Typically, you'll want to get a confirmation before submitting your order. As you will see, an order confirmation returns all the IDs that you've passed in by the request body JSON, along with human-readable data that fully describes what was referenced by those IDs, such as device name, vendor, price, etc. This is very useful to API consumers who want to present that information back to their end users so they can verify their order for accuracy. On the other hand, when the order is successfully submitted, the API will return an HTTP status code of 200, along with data describing the order details as well as the newly assigned order number. If your submission wasn't successful, an error status code along with error information would have been returned instead. Okay, before I demonstrate in the developer portal, I just want to describe what data elements must be included in your JSON request body for an order accessories request. The transaction type, order accessories, indicates that you wish to order accessories that are from the approved catalog and are compatible with the existing device asset. The external order number is an order number, tracking number, or some other reference number generated by the vendor who's fulfilling this order. It's a helpful cross-reference back to that vendor's ordering system. The service ID identifies the specific service asset associated with the device. That is, the device which you will be ordering these new accessories for. The shopping cart contains an array named accessory IDs. It's populated with the catalog IDs for the accessories that you wish to order. The properties block contains the order properties that are used by the vendor to fulfill your order. It is important to know that the set of order properties for any order accessories order can vary somewhat amongst the different vendors. For more information on that, please refer to our video entitled How to Obtain Order Properties. Lastly, the shipping information contains a properly formatted delivery address, along with a flag to indicate if the delivery should be expedited. Okay, now let's go to the developer portal to see how we can order accessories for one of your device assets. We'll begin by going to the Orders endpoint and click on the Post tab. From here, we'll click on our Try It link. And now we have our input form where we can exercise the API. I'll first look at my authentication information and check the scopes, as well as enter my headers identifying my particular tenant and my client ID. You'll have been provided with tenant IDs and client IDs when you register your application with Tango. Okay, down at the query parameters, you'll see there's one single query parameter, confirm. This is the checkbox that we'll check to indicate that we want to get back a confirmation instead of submitting it for processing. This will allow us to verify our order and know that it's successful before we can actually submit it to the vendor for processing. And next, we'll scroll down to the request body. We'll clear out the template that was in there. That was a template for a new activation, showing you an example of what a request body might look like. In our case, we're submitting an order accessories, so I'll put a blank template and we'll build it up from there step by step. So here's my blank template. I will first enter in my external order number. I'm just going to enter in a random string. This would have been an order number provided by our vendor to cross-reference back to their system. We'll enter our transaction type. As well as our service ID. This is the service ID for the service asset that's associated with the device that we're ordering the accessories for. And next, I will add my accessory IDs for the accessory catalog items that I wish to order. In this case, I'll order 2, but you could order more, as many as you'd like, or even just 1. Second to last, we will enter in our order properties. Again, these are properties used by the vendor to help fulfill the order. They're specific for every vendor. So, in other words, you'll always want to go to the /orders/properties endpoint to get the order properties that are specific for this transaction type and this vendor. They will vary somewhat among vendors. I'm only going to add the 2 that are required, but there are additional properties that are supported that are optional, and you could naturally add as many optional properties as you wish. But the required ones are required for an order to be successfully submitted. Enter my contact number and my service number. This is the service number that's associated with the service asset that I identified above. And lastly, I will put in my ship to information. This is the template for the information that I'll have to return with all the required address components. Please note that it must include all the address components that are required for shipping to the country of destination in order for it to be valid. In my case, I'm shipping to the United States. For detailed information on how to assemble these components, please watch our video entitled Shipping Information for an Order Request, which will give you a step-by-step of how to assemble this block. I'll first enter the name of the recipient, where it's being shipped to, in this case myself, then the region ID for where it's being shipped, in this case the United States, as well as my address. First the street address, city, state, and postal code. Lastly, you'll see our expedite flag, which I have set to true, which I wanted to ship it in the fastest way possible, but please note that additional charges may apply. And then we will submit our confirmation. Okay, we have our response back. We'll scroll down to that. Let me point out just a few pieces of data here. Notice that the entire response is wrapped in a block named order confirmation. This is how we can tell we are in that mode and not submitting it for actual processing. Next, we might notice that the source system was able to infer a lot of information from our login, headers, and other elements within the request body. So for example, you can see in our account holder block that includes employee detail records for the logged in user, myself, which is also the person for whom I'm placing the order. We can also see the cost summary block, which summarizes any one-time or recurring costs that are associated with the accessories we're ordering, as well as the device, which is the device for which we're ordering these accessories. And this is helpful to show the end user so that they can have a better context of what they're placing this order for, which particular device. We see our external order number, as well as our order properties. In addition to the IDs and values that we supplied in the request body for these order properties, notice how the response now includes the data type and the human readable label as well. This label is not only helpful for the API consumer to better understand the nature of the properties in cases where the ID is a little cryptic, but it's also helpful in case they want to, again, present this information back to their end user for them to verify it. In the requested by block, you will see my information appearing there, and that is because I am ordering these accessories for the benefit of myself. But had I wanted to order it on behalf of another user, I would have needed to have passed some additional headers, namely the Tango Context Employee ID header or the Tango Context Company Employee ID header, and populated it with an ID for this other user that I want to order on behalf of. If I had done that, then the account holder block would have contained this different employee's information, but the requested by block would have still contained my information since I'm the one doing the order, but it would then show you in the account holder block who we are actually placing this order on behalf of. To find another employee's ID number, you can always use the /employees endpoint. Next, we see the service block, and this contains details describing the service asset associated with this device. And below that, you will see our ship to information, which again is where we're specifically going to be shipping these accessories. And finally at the bottom, you will see the shopping cart, which contains all the information describing these accessories that we're actually ordering. Again, very helpful for sending back to the end user so they can verify that they are in fact ordering what they had intended to order. And lastly, if you just see at the bottom here, you'll see a transaction type, order accessories, as well as the status that it went through successfully. Okay, that's an order confirmation. Let's see what it looks like when we do an order submission. So I'll just scroll back to the top. And because our information is correct, we can just resubmit it. I will unclick the confirmation block here. And then we just simply resubmit. We'll just scroll down to our response. Notice that our response is similar, but with a few notable differences. The order ID identifier has been added. The order ID identifier is very important to the end user since it is what they will most often use to locate details or status about a pending or processed order. Also, if we scroll to the bottom, you'll see that our status now has changed to order submitted. The other really notable difference is the shopping cart. In our confirmation, we saw a shopping cart block. This has been replaced with an order segments block, which contains all the same information about our ordered accessories, plus some vendor details. So there it is. You've successfully created an order accessories request, confirmed that order, and successfully submitted it for processing. If the source system has a workflow attached to this type of order, then it might be forwarded for a manager's approval queue or for some other step. We also noticed that the order ID was returned in our response after we submitted the order. You can use this ID to make an API call to the order/ID endpoint to get order details and the status of its current state. For greater detail about some of the areas I discussed, I recommend watching a few of our other videos, including the ones for submitting request headers, obtaining order properties, and how to construct the shipping information block for an order request. Each of these videos provides helpful explanations on how to complete these particular areas of an order request. I hope you found this video useful. For more information and tutorials on other topics, we recommend browsing the MobProc API video library at mobproc.tv and our documentation website at mobproc.info. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and have a great day.